And just give me 1 second. I feel like I have something like in my teeth. So
no worries.
Just give me 10 seconds. I'll be right there.
Oh, no worries.
Oh, what is this? Okay, all better. So if you have any questions as we go along, pick my brain, ask away.
All right.
But if you guys are ready to rock and roll, I'm ready to jump in if you're good.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, awesome. All right. Okay, so the first thing that showed me as I'm focusing on you is, I guess we are not related biologically, because I feel like I'm supposed to bring up the dude in the black polo, the short sleeve shirt with the collar. I have a mom that wants to come through, and she wants me to make it seem like she's only your mom. So our mom's passed?
No.
What?
No.
Oh, it has to be, because I thought I was going to say your mom and his dad. So
well,
feels like I'm. How do I interpret that?
Well, there's a couple people that could be.
That's not your mother-in-law.
So
well,
do we have like two moms, sir?
I have a mother-in-law that's passed, and then
You do?
Yeah, and I have my grandmother who's passed. Who's
okay? No. But when you say mother-in-law, you're saying
in-law,
huh?
Practically mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Your brother's what? Your brother's.
Yeah, it's
mom.
not my. Yeah,
your brother's
it's my
mom.
So your brother's mother-in-law.
Like a mother to us.
Yeah, but she was always like a mom to us.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. In my head, I feel like I have this woman who does not want to be seen as grandma. She comes across like she is like your mom.
Okay. Yeah.
But she also wants me to make sure I bring up the idea that she wants to bring through the man to the left of you's father, who's crossed over.
Yeah.
So I have the mom for one, the dad for the other. That's the way symbolically they put it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's important to make sure that this female wants credit for assisting the father. And when they do that, it's almost an indication that I wonder if, sir, you in the Hurley shirt, I wonder if your dad passed away just in the last 2 years or less.
Yes.
Where we can hypothetically joke that he would need assistance to do this because he's still, it's relevant. Yes. But I want to make sure we give credit where credit's due. Your dad's fine, but he wants me to make sure that to the dude to the right of you, I acknowledge the mom that has to be crossed over. There's also this whole story about the mom with cancer or something is what they want me to say too. So would we know, did she have a cancer diagnosis before she crossed?
No, I don't think so. It wasn't that. That's not what she passed from.
Weird.
Your grandmother.
Feels like I'm supposed to bring up why I feel like there's this idea of like stomach and lung cancer. But they want me to bring this up.
That's
my grandmother. Yes. So my last reading, she came in as mom as well. As well. So
is there a joke? Like, do we refer to her as mom?
No, she just never wanted to be a grandmother. She hated being old. She just always wanted to be young.
That makes sense.
And so
And she had lung cancer?
She had breast cancer, but she had
stomach issues.
She had what's the other cancer of this? Not stomach, but she had intestinal type of cancer.
That's stomach to me. I gotcha. So then that's grandma.
Yeah.
Weird. So are you a fan of professional wrestling?
No.
Okay. So I have to either interpret that there is a reference to the name Dusty or the name Cody, because they're showing me this idea of this wrestling family that's on TV. So I'm supposed to bring, where does that name come up for you guys? Who's Dusty or who's Cody?
No, none of those.
Oh yes, I can't reinterpret this. This is I'm seeing this Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream wrestler, and his son Cody Rhodes. There's something about that name that they're trying to get me to acknowledge for you guys.
The dog's name's Cody. He's alive.
That would be it. So cool. Yeah. Just their way to make sure we call out to you. That's your dog's name is Dusty, Cody?
Cody.
I knew it was one of them. So just their way to make sure we call out to your dog. Is he like a little Is he a little white thing?
Yes.
Because your dad wants to make it seem like he's a little white snowball.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Ukrainian.
Cool. Because I'm supposed to make it seem like he's just this dandelion of a dog.
Yeah,
So
kind of.
oh, cool. So now, here's the deal. So who has the tattoo of mom?
I don't.
Nope.
I have a lot of tattoos, but no tattoo.
I have tattoo too as well, but
But
that's my only tattoo.
Nope. I feel like they want me to bring up the idea of like somebody having like mom's handwriting tattoo or something. So it feels like that's important to bring up. So I wonder if you can say that your brother-in-law,
Yeah. Or my sister-in-law.
Right.
My sister-in-law.
you know, the sister-in-law has like the tattoo of mom's handwriting or something. I wonder if you would know that.
Huh?
Did she?
She's been thinking about that.
Well, Dallas has his mom's writing right here.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, maybe that's it. Yeah. His
Who-
has-
My partner has his mom's love mom on his bicep.
Okay. So are we best friends or are we brothers?
best friends.
Best friends.
We're business partners. We
Business
used to be. I'm not saying anything, but yeah, we're best
No,
now.
Yeah.
But you're really good friends.
Yes.
Yeah, we're very close friends. Yeah.
But then we have another gentleman who's a partner of yours.
Yeah, he's my partner for 4 years.
Would
now.
his mom would it be passed on?
No.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
To me, I feel like I need to, before I acknowledge your dad, sir, it feels like there's such a strong thing of like the one without the Harley shirt. Feels like there's the mom that needs to come through, brings up this idea of like the handwriting tattoo. And to make sure I bring up the idea that I feel like there's this whole stomach lung cancer story that I get to bring up. I also feel like there's this idea of why they're trying to also get me to say that I don't know if we just moved in the last year or two, one of us, but there's this idea of like the reallocation and everything that Spirit wants me to kind of give you guys or you credit for doing recently as well. So it feels like there's like we just relocated or changed,
Yes.
relocated businesses or something like that. But it feels like
we just actually bought houses in the last. Both of us bought houses in the last couple of years, relocated to new houses.
okay, so this is their way to come through, but I just need to make sure that, it seems like you have two different families.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's the woman for you with the polo and there's the father for you in the black Hurley shirt. I feel like they want me to also say your dad comes across like, man, he comes across like maybe that's it too. There's this kind of charismatic aspect to your dad that he wants me to almost make it seem like, it's so important to bring up the idea of like beyond the son that like other people looked up to him like a father themselves. And I feel like there's this idea that he feels like you shared him with so many other people that, you can say like, hey, I had the best dad, but he was dad to other people.
That's very absolutely correct.
So correct.
100%.
And I'm supposed to thank your partner who's not on camera for like being the only person insane enough to take you on to deal with you and to protect you. So even though we have a friend who's a coworker and we're doing these things and we've always worked together, I feel like I'm supposed to bring up your partner as being the person that I feel like, it's almost like you two together are going to get in trouble. Like, but yet I feel like we protect each other and we stand up and he's like a watchdog for you. So now, is your father passed on too, sir?
Yeah.
Did the two fathers ever know each other?
No.
Really? So even though you guys like are partners and your friends, the two worlds never crossed between dads.
No. It was early
Okay.
on.
Maybe though,
No.
because he passed away in 2003, and I've known you since 7.
One of them is acknowledging where's the connection to Colorado?
Okay, there's a connection.
There's a connection.
Yeah.
But what?
One of your fathers wants to bring up like who just went there or who wears the family out in Colorado.
We
have a business partner.
Business partner
He lives in Colorado.
who lives in outside Boulder, Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. What like some kind of tech business or something?
Yeah. Tech software. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that feels like first off, just so I know, is Sean the man in the Hurley shirt?
No, that's me. This is
okay.
Scott.
So you're Sean.
Yeah.
I'm Scott.
Yeah.
Scott. Okay. So Scott, who's the musician? Because they keep on showing me my piano and synthesizer and organ over here on this side of my room. So somebody feels like they're all part of like the music
I mean,
producing world or something, and they want me to bring up like where that comes up for one of the boys in the family. And then if
No.
so, you're Scott. Besides this kind of purchasing property for like the business or whatever, did we also somebody just buy a house in the last 2 years too?
mhm.
Okay. Because it almost feels like this idea of, I know it's going to sound weird. And even though you're talking about there is a friend who's a business partner that lives in Colorado,
Right.
I wonder if it's really this unique trifecta of the two of you and Scott's partner. The It almost feels like, I wonder if it's almost like we're always just like in the house together. We're always kind of just doing things that, your dad's want me to joke about like Mo, Larry, and Curly, like the Three Stooges kind of running around. And I feel like I'm supposed to make it seem like even why there's one guy in Colorado, feels like it's always just kind of the three of you guys just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
But where's the COVID passing? Because they keep on trying to get me to make it seem like there's
dad.
COVID involved with
My
one of
dad.
them. Okay. So your dad's here. He feels like it's so important to bring up this idea that like, you know, I think you're that perfect mix of like funny and humorous, and then like, you know, kind of goal oriented and kind of all about business. And your dad feels like I have the privilege to make sure that like I acknowledge like him respecting you and making it seem like how proud he is of your accomplishments around the same time that I feel like we have to bury him and we lose him. And all it feels like everything happens all at once for you guys. And he also wants me to bring up your pet sanctuary that you have or something like that. But he wants me to joke about like your animal obsession. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could
But he
say
wants me to joke about like the pieces of like who's pooping on the floor everywhere.
Mhm.
Wants me to joke about that. He also wants me to bring up like the idea of like something with me. So I'm in the process of either me and my wife are looking for houses. Also, we're looking at moving. And when we went house hunting last week, I had mentioned to the woman, I was like, you know, I just want that great room where I can put like a really big Christmas tree in, and I want like the neighborhood where I can like decorate for Christmas, because that's like something I used to do with my dad and stuff. And it just like I always want that house that has, you know, I can kind of put the big light bulbs on the roof and just kind of make. And the realtor was like, wow, you and the New Yorkers really love your Christmas decorations. And I go, yeah, that's like me. And I feel like your dad wants me to bring up the idea of like the Christmas lights and the idea of there's something about like making sure that you continue to do that for yourself and for your little world. He feels like the importance of like making sure the lights stay on. The weird thing is your dad comes across like there's this weird story with your dad's passing. It doesn't really seem like it's cut and dry. Not that I'm supposed to focus and dwell too much on his death, but your dad comes across as if I keep on want to call you Hurley,
okay.
Scott, right?
Yep.
Yeah. As if like there's this story about like he had something wrong with him, and then we had hope, and it was like we're good, and then it was like something else happened, and it was like, oh my God, you know, why'd he live through this just to succumb through to this? And he feels like there's just this weird storm with his health. Like he was in the hospital and he was doing okay, and then he just had a big decline in health. And he feels like there's this idea of like, I don't think your dad just died from COVID. It almost seems like he had something else wrong with his lungs or his heart as well. That feels like it was just this perfect storm. And it was like, you know,
Yes.
even if he overcame one thing, his body was so compromised, he was not meant to see through, you know, 2023. But he wants to let you know that he wasn't afraid. And it's so important to bring up the idea that feeling like, you know, he's more thinking what this is going to mean for you and your mom than anything, not about himself. And I wonder if there is this odd, weird thing about, us thinking like, did we take him to the wrong hospital or did we kind of like bring him to the wrong venue? But he feels like this was going to happen no matter what. He feels like there's this idea of almost making it seem like all this talking to get me to say he hopes you guys and your family especially learn to like accept what happens, knowing that he's completely okay because he knows that he's still connected to you guys.
Yeah.
He also feels like he wants me to bring up this idea of like I'm just going to say this. I mean, I don't know you past just a few minutes of talking and all you've just said is yes, no, but there is this element of you that just makes it seem like I want to be your friend because I feel like you're fun and stupid, but like in good ways. And your dad wants me to joke like, that's your dad. Like you're weird because your dad.
Mm-hmm. I would
And
agree.
he wants me to make it seem like, be proud of that,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if this is going to come out of my mouth wrong or not. I hope this is like a compliment, but I feel like it's what if you almost do anything for a reaction? That's kind of like what you do. You have that kind of, you like to elicit emotion from people or get a reaction from people. And he feels like, don't pretend that you don't, because you do. And
Right.
he wants me to like make it seem like, there was this enigmatic aspect to him too, that he feels like he wants to own. And then when we talk about Sean's dad, it feels like this is the man that I feel like feels like you can come sit next to him and like, he'll give you some solid advice and he'll kind of, take you under the olive tree and like learn it. He feels like there's more of a kind of a people person type of persona to your father. I almost want to call him the mayor or somebody like that, people kind of he knew everything about everybody and everybody knew about him. So now, mom's mom is passed for us, right, Sean? Our maternal grandmother?
My maternal grandmother.
Yes.
I also have an ex whose mom just passed away a year ago. So when you were kind of bringing up that mom, that's who I'm thinking, because I always called her mom. And I know my ex was considering getting a tattoo with a heart with his mom on it. I know.
Okay. Just so I can focus.
I don't know if it happened though.
What's your ex's name?
Caleb.
Gil?
No, Caleb.
Caleb with a C?
Yeah.
And then where's the story of like somebody who like had like a substance abuse problem?
That's him. That's why we're not together. Yeah.
Okay. This is the mom I'm supposed to bring up. We did refer to somebody as mom.
Yeah. I always
mom.
I always call her mom. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did she ever look at, I mean, I'm not telling you to speak for her. I would almost feel like, I wonder if then you would say, yes, she would have looked at me as a son figure, as much as,
absolutely.
I'm not with her.
Yeah. Yeah. She would still be like a son. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She definitely loved me.
I wanted to say this. I feel like, I wonder if you can say that, it's not just the reason why you're not with them is because of that one thing. I wonder if you really stood by them and it was this idea of, we thought, okay, us in their life, we could be that thing that they need, that light that they need to kind of make sure that they find their way through the darkness. And I feel like, your dad wants me to remind you, it's like, it's in life, yeah, you're supposed to shine light for other people, but you're also supposed to look out for yourself. And I feel like it's almost like, hey, thank God for people like Scott to remind us we're here for our own development and evolving and for our own reasons too. It's not just about serving people and being kind of I wonder if there's part of you throughout your life, you're always kind of attracted to needy people that just needed love.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's almost like there's like a little bit of you. I wonder if you always kind of felt like you also, felt like you were kind of this lone wolf of sorts, kind of trying to kind of find your place. And you had, but I wonder if, it's just kind of this idea of like in the last couple of years, we've been able to make better decisions for ourselves and look at what happened as a result of that. It's almost like the universe saw that you learned the lesson.
Yep.
And it opened up this whole other world for you.
Yep. Nailed it. Yep.
So
100%.
both your fathers want me to bring up the idea that, I hope you guys stay close together forever and your respective partners or who you have now or whoever's in your life now. I really feel like it's just one little weird, awesome, cool, funny, fun family that is out there. And I feel like it's a lesson also that not everybody who becomes family has to come from the blood. It comes from who the universe puts in our path and who we are smart enough and lucky enough to cross paths with. So that's what I want to bring up. I also feel like there's this joke about like actually, let me just stop right there. So did Caleb's mom have like this weird diagnosis with cancer herself?
No.
What'd she pass from? Like, did she just have like an aneurysm or heart attack?
She drug overdose.
So she had the substance abuse story herself.
Her as well, yeah.
Her as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she could have had cancer. I don't know. I mean, she was not always like very, like
open about what's going on with her.
Yeah, and I in the whole lung cancer thing, she was a heavy smoker, so
Maybe.
so that's definitely totally could have been her. So
okay,
the whole tattoo thing makes me wonder, just because of the fact that like that. Yeah.
Oh,
It sounds like her. Anyways.
So, who has a tattoo of the bird?
right there.
What is?
Oh,
I see like the foot of.
Where is it?
Wow, the hardest tattoo. Oh, we can just show it that way. It's like, let me go upside down and twist.
Right.
There's the bird. Very cool. Your dad just wants me to make sure we bring up the idea of like he sees that, which I guess I couldn't see on camera because it took you 5 angles to show it to me. He wants to make it seem like, I wonder if that's like a big thing for you. And he also wants me to make it seem like, so to dad, like he makes it seem like there's this moment where we feel like he survived something for like a few days. Like there was this, hey, we have to rush him into the hospital. And, he got lucky. Like we just got him there in time and like, he's all right and he's holding on. And then he feels like just as we were delivered, like, okay, he made it through. It's almost like, whoop, something happened. He's got some kind of infection or something. And we might have to intubate or we have to kind of like make decisions and stuff. And he just wants to make sure that like he tried so hard to overcome and to stay here for you. And I don't know if you're not married, but yet you're with someone in like a very serious way, but he feels like he always wanted to be there for your actual like wedding ceremony, even if it was going to be a small wedding, because he feels like you should be with somebody that I feel like we would be like, all right, regardless of how we do this, we are married to each other, committed. And he feels like he wants to make sure he respects that about you, and he's just so proud of the man that you've become. He also wants me to bring up this idea of, was there a story with one of you guys where we were actually going to stay in the house and then we decided last minute to sell the house, but we were really kind of like teeter-tottering, and so indecisive what to do until like we couldn't like help, like we got too good of a deal on the house and we were like, all right, okay, that answered it for us. We're just going to sell the house. It feels like your dad wants me to bring up like this kind of really everything happened all so fast for you. It feels like it's almost like we're not ready to leave, but we left.
Yeah.
But yet to accept again the idea that let life just go along for the ride and just not overcomplicate things. And no matter where you settle or where you go or what you do for work, as long as you have good people around you and you have your faith, you'll make it work. It's not like whether one thing is good or one thing is bad. It's whatever you decide, you will make successful. And you have to, I feel like your dad is a big part of that work ethic that you have.
Yeah.
So feels like he wants like a 25% stake in the company. So now he also wants me to bring up this idea. Is there a Steve somewhere?
Yes, it's my brother.
Who's Steve?
My oldest brother.
So I don't know if he also struggles sometimes with your dad.
Yeah.
But he feels like he wants to make sure that out of everybody we can call out to, he needs to let you in front of me know that dad's okay, but make sure that he called out to Steve first.
Yep.
And I don't know if the rapid succession in which your dad's health decline really made it hard for your brother to get himself mentally in the state of mind to really feel like, was I even able to be there for dad the way I wanted to be now looking back a year or so? But dad feels like, let it go, Steve. We're good.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know. Halloween is my favorite holiday And your dad shows me everything about Halloween, even though we're having this discussion in April.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Your dad shows me Johnny Depp's character. What's the Jack the Skeleton? What's
There's
Jack?
that one, yeah. Uh-huh.
The Nightmare Before Christmas is what I'm
Right,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah. Or is it like
It's just a symbolism.
scissor
It
hand?
just could be symbolism too. But.
Like Mr. Halloween, Mr. Skulls and stuff,
Yeah.
you know. But your dad feels like
Yeah.
if it was up to you, I feel like they'd be like purple and black every day or something, or this feeling of like getting dressed up every day. Every day would be Halloween.
Purple and black, yeah.
But please know Pops is good. I feel like I had his name on my tip of my tongue, and it's like it hasn't clicked yet, but I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I will get his name. But I had family that lived in San Diego for a little bit before they moved to Arizona. And when I used to visit them, I used to go to La Jolla. Is that how you say it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
With the steels and the ocean looks like there's diamonds on it. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But is there a crazy story about or I don't even know if this took place at a pool, but is there a memory associated with one of your dads where like somebody in the family almost drowned in the water and somebody had to be pulled out and they like didn't know how to swim, but they were rescued just in time? I feel like there's some kind of drowning close call story that one of your dads wants me to remind us about.
It kind of happened to me when I was 3.
Somebody dumped you in like a pool accidentally?
I followed my brothers and sisters off the boat, and I saw them walking, but I was too short and I was underwater, and my brother picked me up and saved me.
Okay.
And my dad would have been there, and that would have been a very special lake that we all spent family on.
Okay. So it feels like he wants to just kind of recall, I guess, when you were that young, knee high to a grasshopper and this crazy close call that I wonder if your brother would say, he would still like kind of tell you like he saved your life and you owe him or something like that. But I feel like, in a weird way, it's almost like he also shows me that to kind of make it seem like, regardless of, I don't know if you ever thought that maybe your brother Steve was a little envious of you in a weird way, I'm not saying jealous,
no,
but this idea of making it seem like he can't relate to you in a way where we have to be reminded that even when you were younger, he always had your back, and we have to make sure that we always never veer too far away from that brother. Even with everything else you got going on, I feel like it's almost like he needs you just like, you always needed him. Now, they also showed me this story about like, so even though your dads never knew each other, it really kind of comes across to me that they're like literally just fighting for the microphone, and they're literally next to each other, as if they're how you guys are situated. But did we know if one of our fathers were left-handed?
No.
Really? Then is there something with one of your left hand that is something of dad's? Like, I don't know. Somebody have
my brother's
a tattoo on their wrist or their hand on their left arm that's of dad?
My brother.
Does somebody wear dad's watch on their left hand?
No, my brother's left-handed.
It feels like it's something like dad and the left hand is what I'm supposed to say. And if I had to, I think it's more for you, Sean. So, dad, left hand. So my name is Christopher Allan. Allan was my dad. I'm supposed to bring up, where's our AL sounding name for you guys?
Okay, that's yeah, I can relate to that.
So they showed me to say Ali, Allan, Al.
My dad's middle name was Allan.
Oh, just like me.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Hence Christopher Allan. That's well. Was his name Christopher too? So was it Allen?
Because I think so. Or was it ALA? I can't
Well,
remember.
I'm AN, and that's pretty
Just
rare. But
spelling, I can't remember. But I think it's AL. No, because no, my oldest brother Steve's middle name's Allen too, but they're spelled differently.
okay. Oh, interesting. The middle name's spelled differently.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
I don't
But
remember
but
who.
but
I-
your late father's middle name was Allen as well.
I think it was ALAN, and
Cool.
then my brother's
That's me.
ALLEN.
That's cool. That's well. Then your dad is literally my middle name
Yeah.
because I have an A with me. Hey, so I see the dog right there,
Yes.
but your dad feels like, where's the rest of the 50 of them? So I don't know if we have like a whole pet store in our house.
No. I have 2 Pomeranians at my house, and I'm
Okay.
and there's 2 Pomeranians here.
Oh, do you ever like take all 4 of them on walks together
yeah,
as like
and-
friends?
Yeah, they're all best.
And there's also a Pomeranian that has passed as well.
Okay. Was one of the Pomeranians that passed away white?
Yeah, whitish. Yeah,
Kind of
kind of like light
creamy.
color. Yeah.
No. So did you guys, grow up in the same state?
Kind of. Same region.
Same region.
Okay. Interesting, because I feel like there's something to me that, we acknowledge that Scott's dad passed away, I guess, during COVID. So I'm assuming it's in the last 3 years or less.
Yeah.
But when it comes to your world, Sean, I wonder if your dad also has been like not too long either. But it feels like your dad had to be there before Scott's, yes?
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Years, yeah.
There's this part of me that almost feels like I'm supposed to just go back to the woman that wanted to do this for you. I don't know if, even though you might, you've moved on in your life, I don't know if you almost still have tabs on who Caleb, where he's floating around and stuff, but it feels like in a weird way, she doesn't want you to take this today and say like, okay, I have to call them up and let them know mom's okay. She feels like, don't do that. Because I feel like, don't let that energy in. But she feels like this is for you to know that the effect that you had on Caleb's life is to be appreciated.
Okay.
And that, it's up to them to kind of take that light and do something with it or help them through. But ultimately, we are responsible for ourselves, just like she was. And she just hopes that, they're able to learn from mom, but to know that wherever you go in your life, you have her blessing.
Okay.
And that, she has the dads here. That it's a real shame that they never met, because I just feel that would be like such a funny thing to see how these 2 fathers would talk to each other alone in a diner.
We think
They
they might have met.
Yeah, because both our parents met. That was back in remember they met at the college.
Did they?
Yeah, because it was yeah.
I don't remember
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
I don't know.
It was in
Anyways.
99. I think it was.
Well, your dad also feels like you need to promise your dad that you'll be sporting this long hair for as long as you possibly can.
Well, thank you, Dad. Wouldn't have expected that.
Because he feels like, I don't know if like how he used to be, he would never be so free flowing like you.
Absolutely not.
Very much.
But he feels like you need to own who you are and the differentiation between father and son, and like let your hair down and grow it while you have it. Like if you have it, don't cut it off.
That's really interesting. Okay. Yeah.
So this is his way to kind of make it seem like almost like it feels like the vibe is almost like that he wants to acknowledge the man that you become, this businessman, this supportive brother, this person who's there for mom, this person who, no matter what, was kind of, always trying to remind people how respected, how the good about your dad. But I wonder if there's a big part of your dad that makes it feel like, throughout life, there was always maybe more that we wished we could have both saw on the same page on and stuff like that and agreed on. And he feels like he's in your corner until the day you graduate and you see him again. He's always got your back. He also wants me to bring up, so did the dog have pancreatitis? Is that what happened?
Yes. Yep, that's what he died of, pancreatitis. Yep.
Your dad has that dog. It's
okay.
So important that you also laugh at the idea of that's weird too, but I'm glad that that's the case. So, but the dog's okay. So, in a lot of ways, I don't know if this is something where we almost felt like, wow, like Just like with Dad, the dog went from 0 to 100 so quick. And it was like, what did we do? Did we rush things or did we miss something? And I'm here to remind you, Scott, that you're not in control of life or death. You're in control of the love and the light that you give. And you gave your dad and your dog and anybody else who crosses your path love and light. And that's what you're responsible for. And you will never, you should never be so hard on yourself. It's like just you being you is enough. But it's up to, I guess, ourselves and the universe and God when it's our time and stuff. And I hope you never hang yourself from the gallows when it comes to your dog or with your father or anything about regrets or how we left off or what could have been or yesterday or making decisions. I feel like this is their way to celebrate you and your buddy and who's not on camera, your other partner, and to make sure we realize that, this seems like if your dog and if your dad were alive today, we're really entering the prime of our life. And they hope that you really enjoy these years without the grief, that we could just put them in our pockets and focus on all the good that has come your way. And this idea that, at the end of the day, your purpose is just to be happy and allow yourself to be happy. And whatever that means, that's what you have to do. Did anybody ever bartend or ever work at like a tavern? Am I misinterpreting it? Is your dad's name Robert?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So they want me to bring up like who worked as a bartender, who served drinks, who owned like the I'm seeing somebody in my life who like owned it was more of a bar than a restaurant. So your Spiro wants me to bring up like where that comes up. Also, aren't we connected to somebody who hung or shot themselves?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm supposed to bring up the suicide victim.
Okay, yep.
So they're next to your dad's.
Yep. That would make sense.
Because I had a cousin who shot himself and I'm seeing him around you. Yep. So I don't know if this is a good friend of ours or a cousin figure, but I feel like I'm supposed to make it seem like would this be kind of a gunshot to the head? Just know that they're in the same place as your beloved dads. And then there's this other idea that I keep on seeing like a priest.
Yes. My dad's a pastor.
Your dad's a pastor?
Yes.
Oh my God. Hold on. Can I just share this entire time talking to you? Not in a bad way, but that was the furthest thing I would have thought you were going to say your dad did for work. Like he was a professional pastor.
Yes, full time. I was raised in the church.
Then I don't want to go down this path for more than 20 seconds. But, I wonder if it's very kind of like that kind of cliche scenario of, who you are kind of tested your dad's conventionality of life.
Absolutely.
But yet you knew that he loved you.
Absolutely.
And some people never know that as hard as it is for people to break molds, that there's still the love for the child. And I feel like you always knew that.
Yeah.
But yet we're talking about a guy who I guess, Bible thumped a little bit.
Yes.
And sometimes it's crazy because to me, I think spirituality and religion are really the same freaking thing, but yet to this day, right? It's like, everything's the devil unless it's visiting, in the interpretation of Bibles and stuff. But, your dad wants me to just make sure, you realize that up until this point of me realizing he was a pastor, it's trying to make it seem like he's in your corner now and he gets you now and he's proud of you now. And he's, that in a lot of ways, you taught your dad so much that I just wish he had more time to kind of put into play. Mm-hmm. If he had survived, he'd lived for another 10 years. I feel like that version of dad might have been, if he pulled through COVID, he would have had his own near-death experience. And I think it would have changed who he was. But since he couldn't hold on, I want to let you know that the soul version of him is his son's biggest supporter. Mm-hmm. And I guess by talking about Cody, your living dog, or the one that died from pancreatitis, we acknowledge the things in your life right now besides your business partner, friend, and your other dude, that like the people that mean the most to you, we are to acknowledge, because that's where you need to focus on, and focus on where the love is, focus on where the light is. And your dad is still a part of that world of you, wherever your little family is, and however you define your family, your dad's still a part of it in some way. And in some ways, I almost feel like this is his way to almost make fun of himself, like this kind of weird guy who, preached and maybe took life a little too seriously.
Yeah.
But yet, he wants credit for also, you being able to maybe, because of that, kind of carve your own path and be uniquely you. And, who's to say you would be this person had your father not been who he was?
I would agree.
So I hope that's kind of how we look at it, is it's not, maybe there's a reason, like God knew exactly what he was doing when he paired you guys up.
Yeah.
And your dad wants to make sure you realize, it's the love that survives. So what's with your mom's glasses?
My mom's glasses?
Yeah. Is there a joke about it? Did she just get new glasses? Did she just break her glasses?
I don't know. She wears glasses.
Well, Dad feels like I'm supposed to laugh at your mom's glasses right now, as if like she just got a new pair and they're weird, or she just broke them and this is her 5th pair she broke. But I'm supposed to joke about your mom's like reading glasses, or her glasses she wears. And then there's this story about so is somebody an artist?
Oh, well.
Somebody was like a painter, or they like were like an old school artist? Because I'm seeing Bob Ross, and I feel like I'm supposed to bring up like,
oh, my grandmother.
Do we have like grandma's paintings, or do we have her artwork, or?
No, I wish I did. I don't personally have it. I don't know if someone in my family does.
Okay, well, I feel like they want to bring up who.
She would watch Bob Ross and paint Bob Ross paintings.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Well, I'm supposed to bring up why I'm seeing that. I feel like this, like the way to acknowledge her. I don't know if she's crossed over. But they want to make sure I bring up like who comes to mind when we talk about the painter and Bob Ross and the oil canvases and stuff like that. I want to make sure I share that. Also, I'm not here to scare you, but Sean, have you ever had a colonoscopy?
Yeah, I just had one.
Okay, because your dad wants to acknowledge the colonoscopy.
Okay, I just had one. Yeah.
Okay, like just had one like in the last like couple of weeks?
No, last couple of years, but literally I just went to the doctor's this week, and the doctor asked me, he's like, did you just, he asked me if I had the colonoscopy. I'm like, yeah, I had it last year. I had it. And
well, I see something going on with your gut health. So stay on top of that. I don't know if you have really bad GERD or
yes, really bad GERD. Yes. Yeah.
But sometimes if it's really bad, it can almost be like, like precancerous things that need to be taken out, like nodules. But your dad feels like stay on top of that. Make sure you always get your endoscopies and colonoscopies every so often.
Okay.
Like really stay on top of that. He feels like he's trying to look out for you. But you're not going anywhere anytime soon, because I feel like, I don't know what it is that you guys will really do as far as tech company, but does it have anything to do with pharmaceutical also, or healthcare?
No.
Okay, so is there a nurse in the family?
Yes.
Okay, because I feel I'm seeing healthcare around you too. So who's my nurse?
My brother.
Okay, so we got Steve, the brother for our family, and then our brother, the nurse. Cool. Make sure you let him know Dad acknowledges him as much as we can, acknowledge what you guys do together. And then is Ken or Kevin or Kyle somewhere? Because they're saying male K.
Yep. Is it Kevin?
What's the name? Because it's very hard for me to get K's.
Kevin, yeah.
Kevin, cool. So who's Kevin for us?
One of my best friends, or our best friend. Yeah.
Okay. So we're all very close with each other, and the worlds of our friends are our friends and stuff. That's awesome. I wonder if there's this idea of you and Scott and your friends kind of like always like going on some kind of hiking trip together or something. But I feel like there's some kind of like, what's the word I want to use? Like not excursion, like This is the word I want to use and I can't, but it feels like there's some kind of retreat. That's the word. So I feel like you guys are gonna like go on like on an all dudes retreat or something at this time next year in like another country. And it's almost kind of it'd be like some kind of work related but slash fun retreat we're all going on, and your dad feels like there's something to look forward to like this time next year with like 6 people. And it feels like it's international, but it feels like it involves Kevin. So I don't know if you ever mix really good friends with the work world, but it feels like there's like everybody going to like the Middle East or something, or Dubai or some kind of weird place.
I would not be surprised.
That would not be surprising, actually.
But cool. So you ever see the things on social media lately where like people, I'll skip the whole thing because it's silly. Did you just get your backyard redone or something, or is that what we're doing?
I did a little bit in my front yard.
No, I feel like there's some kind of like masonry or like new like patio or something, or like remodeling of the backyard.
Oh yeah.
Or where like the stones are.
Well, like
exactly.
Yeah, where the stones are. Yeah. I mean, I did do that last year.
So did Dad never get a chance to see this house in this?
No, he wouldn't have seen it. He would have saw the house, but not the work done.
The work done. Cool. Man. So if you guys have any questions for your dads, ask away. But I do want to just go to this. Was it a good friend that shot themselves?
Yeah.
Over by you, Sean?
Very close.
I don't know if you ever remember, but did they die right next to their own birthday, or is it like, did his death fall next to like Thanksgiving? There feels like there's like a holiday and death in their passing right next to each other, as if like what a day to pick to do that. So feels like he reigns on a holiday or a celebration. It's important to bring that up. Also, who's Michael?
Another good friend.
Yeah. Okay.
Are these people that are still in our lives now?
Yeah.
Cool. And then the only thing I can't interpret properly is, so I'm going to share it, is I had a cousin who was married to a woman named Maureen, and everybody knew her as Mo. And I'm seeing her, and either there's a name like Mo, or I'm supposed to say like Morris or
Marion,
Moby. But who we know named Mo?
Okay. I mean, Marion, which is like Maureen,
but she went by the name of Midge.
She went by Midge, yeah.
Did anybody? Are we connected to anybody with MS that had like multiple sclerosis or something?
Not that I know.
She did.
Well.
Amber. We know someone. Yeah.
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 Well, your dad shows me my cousin's former wife, whose name is Mo, and if that's not what they're trying to get me to say, then it's what she had, what she struggled with MS. And she's the only person in my life that I know that has MS. So I wonder if there's something about, I don't know if there's a friend of ours that has MS, and there's this whole story about like they just got more severe. But I think if I had to, I think your dads are trying to get me to say whose name sounds like Mo, M-O. So I'll leave that with you, but I feel like Mo is what I'm supposed to bring up. So who's cremated? Is it both our fathers?
My dad was cremated.
Dad too.
Both.
Okay, so both our dads are cremated. No. And then, I just want to share. I thought you were going to say, Scott, that your dad was a lawyer. Like I was convinced that he was a lawyer. I just thought he was kind of like black and white, or there was a level of kind of, I don't know, just something, something made it seem like, I wonder if did he have a hard time expressing like affection?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I would maybe, yeah.
depending on the situation.
Yeah.
And just, I thought you were gonna say like he was in like, he was a strict lawyer or something, but when you talk about preaching, he did that for years. Like that was his thing. Did, in some ways that almost make it seem like, hey, that's pretty impressive that dad did that. But, do we also kind of feel like that kind of, made us also feel like, we were, as we're adults, we kind of, grew further and further away from the church.
Yeah.
Because he feels like, in some ways, listen to my words verbatim. There's something about you that I feel like, you're a preacher in your own way. And I feel like, not that I feel like you're going to have disciples and followers and you're going to, start holding mass on Sundays, but there is something about you that I feel like, there's a counselor in you that I feel like you help people through their hard times and you help people, figure out how to stay true to themselves. And in a lot of ways, your dad feels like, you are my son. You are this preacher of love.
Yeah, I would probably connect that to a lot of my friends look toward me because I throw a lot of Halloween and Christmas parties.
Okay. That's cool. So you're always one to kind of, you're the nucleus.
Oh, I want to bring everyone together. I want to bring the congregation together and just have fun and be goofy.
Yeah. Friendsgiving. It's like, it's all about, we become like this land of misfit toys, but like it's it's the cool place to be. You please know that your dad's just a proponent of, he's just such an advocate of you now. And he just wishes he got a chance to say that to you when he was still here. Mm-hmm. But he wants to make it seem like I've seen the light. So all's good. I'm curious, what is that, a crow? Is that a sparrow? What type of bird you got on your register?
Sparrow.
That's pretty cool. What's the meaning behind that? I feel like there is some kind of cool.
There is a meaning. It's a bird that is releasing a key that will land in my hand for success.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, I don't want to overstep my boundaries, especially with like him not around, but, have we ever talked about like never really having a wedding ever? Like, is that the joke? Like, we're never really going to get, like, that's okay. Like, we're not really expecting to walk down an aisle, but yet like we will kind of always refer to one day to each other as
Wait, who are you talking about?
Oh, who did you say was Brett? Did I hear you say, or somebody, or you had mentioned somebody? Not Brett. I had said, who's the person whose mom, you said somebody had a tattoo of mom on their arm or something.
We don't know it.
We don't know if he ever did it or not, but I know.
It sounds likely that he would have.
Yeah.
Caleb.
Did your dad ever know
no.
No? It feels like there's something about like never settling down or never getting married or something that they want me to bring up, like almost like.
He wanted to get married, but I told him I would never marry him.
Oh, so we were that connected at one point that
so
he was.
I told him no. I said I would never, and that was because of his drug abuse. And I'm like, I'm not going to put myself through this. And he wanted to get married. I was like, no.
Okay. Well, I guess we're going back to her then. This woman talking about. So I feel like the thing is, I hope you just kind of wish. It's a thing of yesterday, but I hope you always kind of just pray for the best. And it's almost kind of like, I wonder if there's a way of, when you finally made that decision to distance yourself, I wonder if kind of like he reacted in a very irrational way, where it wasn't like, wow, you know what? If I was you, I wouldn't really be with me either. I can understand, what it's almost like, I'm going to tarnish your name or fuck you. And she wants me to apologize for that, but I feel like it's those people that I feel like we do have to realize they don't have the tools yet and they need the prayers. It's the people struggling on earth that don't have what we have that we need to be praying for, and almost to kind of take the high road. But man, it's so crazy that I get to do this for you and I can bring these people up, but yet none of them ever met each other besides one time. the mother of this, Caleb and your dad and your father, the preacher. It just, you said they maybe just crossed paths, but they never really got a chance to hang out. And it just feels, it's like, well, this is their way to say we are here because of you guys, and we want to make sure you know that we're good. You don't have to worry about us. Who's getting a new car?
We just talked about it.
Yeah.
So there's a new car coming up in a couple months.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
that is
there
correct.
is.
Yep, that is correct.
Cool. So if you guys have any questions, ask away. I'm just really curious to Scott's. Where's your mom living these days?
Maine.
Where?
Maine.
Maine?
Maine.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, by me up east, northeast. Wow. If I said the name Pat, would you know who that would be for?
My dad's sister.
Okay. Did we have a relationship with your Aunt Pat?
I was very young.
Okay.
I didn't know her that well.
Has she since passed away? Is she alive? Is she in Maine somewhere?
I'm not that close. Did she pass? She might have. I don't know.
All right. Well, your dad wants me to make sure I acknowledge Pat, but I'm supposed to call it to wherever your mom is up in the Northeast or whatever. I feel like there's something about like, I don't know if she's having dizzy spells or there's something with her, like her blood sugar, but I feel like I'm supposed to bring up like, what would be, I'm not saying she's mentally, chemically imbalanced. I feel like it feels like there's some kind of hypothyroidism or like blood pressure thing that feels like she's off equilibrium, that something needs to be leveled out.
She gets dizzy a lot. She has high blood pressure. She gets dizzy a lot. She's had a lot of episodes.
When we talk about your brother Steve, is he there in Maine with you, up with your mom, or is he? Well, make sure we look out for her. But I feel like there's something about like making sure that if she finds her balance and maintains her steadiness.
Yeah.
But wow. So were you raised in Maine?
I was raised in Maine.
I wonder, like, if you were 15, you would have ever imagined you'd be having like, the life you have now out in San Diego, California.
Absolutely not.
But I think that's
living in a town of 500 people. No.
Yeah, I think that's just your testament to the idea of you staying true to yourself and living authentically. And, I wonder if that's kind of a really big thing. Like that's really kind of your MO is you don't even realize what you're doing while you're doing it, but just you being you is like really reminding people to always kind of live their authentic self. And as long as you stay true to yourself, you will attract the right people, the right scenarios, the right opportunities, and you then become the best version of yourself. And I feel like in a lot of ways, as much as I feel like there's so much good, I wonder if Sean can vouch for me and his father, that it's very hard for you, Scott, to really kind of, focus on the good. Like, I wonder if you're always kind of like, I don't think you're modest, but I wonder if you do have a tendency to kind of, just always kind of feel like, there's a piece of you that's missing, or like there's I wonder if you're a glass is half empty type of person. But Spirit wants to remind you, like, you have so much to be blessed for.
Yes.
And your grandmother is your best friend. So did we know your mom's mom in the physical?
Yeah. Mostly when I was younger, but we were close. I would say we were close.
Well, she feels like she's in awe of you is the word they want me to use for her.
Awe. Yeah.
Like but for all the weird ways and for all the good ways. Like you're like, I'm in awe, like you astound me. So if I were to look down at your floor, is it caramel, dark brown, like your couch?
Caramel, yeah.
Yep. Okay, because they want me to say like they're in the house with you and they see what I can't see. They also feel like, I'm going to say this, and then I feel like what they just showed me, I feel like I'm going to be like, my mouth's going to floor to the floor, but it's nothing about like validation. But so both of you look like you should be like in your early 40s. So I would say like, if I had to guess, I would say like 44 tops. Are you going to both say that you're significantly older? Or are you like?
I'm 44.
I'm 49.
44. Okay.
49.
Okay. That's not significant. So you are 44.
I am 44.
Okay. I felt like they were showing me that number, and I'm thinking like you were going to say like, I'm really like 33 or something. But you are 44.
44.
Cool. You ever work at Starbucks? Because that's all I'm seeing in my head is like.
No,
Starbucks.
but I was obsessed with Starbucks for a while.
Okay. Well, I feel like I'm supposed to bring up. I did a whole SWOT analysis in marketing class in college with Starbucks, and I'm seeing the year that I had to drink Starbucks and know about Starbucks in college.
I was pretty obsessed with it.
Cool. Oh, yeah. I almost feel like your dad feels like you were like one day away from getting a Starbucks logo on your back or something.
Probably.
So cool. Well, if you have any questions, ask away. Make sure you realize that we did all we could for that dog. And are we in your house, Sean?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Can we say that Scott's house is more gray or white?
It's
It's
gray.
gray.
Cool. Just a way to say, we're with you. We're watching over you. Dads are best friends now on the other side now that they've done this, and they're celebrating you guys for everything that you've I wonder if with you I was getting you guys mixed up, Sean. It's more like calculated risks. I wonder if you're always just kind of trying to calculate the risks involved.
100%.
100%.
Yep.
And the angels want me to make it seem like that should be admired about you as much as, just go with your gut and listen to your heart. It's like, no, there's also, everybody's different. Everybody's mind operates. But I feel like in some ways, I'm not here to say you should be the leader of your company. But I do feel like whatever you do, know that, even if it's not curing cancer, whatever you offer to people and whatever you do for work, that you work from the heart, you are spiritually guided. And I'm so curious what it is that you guys do, because I feel like it feels like it should be more than just this idea of like tech or an app. It feels like it has some kind of wellness intention somehow. But I feel like, your guides alongside your dad want me to say like, they're working with you and they feel like you don't have anything to worry about. Nothing is you're just gonna keep growing, and then you'll plateau. And I feel like we're plateau just when we feel like, okay, we did everything we set out to do. So, I feel like I'm like, ooh, I want to invest in your company, whatever it is. I don't even know what it is. So, but this is their way to come through. How long has your dad been passed? Over 15 years?
20 years exactly.
Wow.
This September will be 20. Yeah.
I forget. Did I acknowledge how he passed the right way yet?
I don't think so.
No, you didn't.
What happened to him?
Skin cancer.
So he had melanoma?
Yep.
I have to just be honest, even though I don't have to show you. I wrote stroke. I thought you were going to say that your dad had something that affected.
He did have a stroke. So the stroke first came, and then because of the stroke, he was on medication that caused the skin cancer. But that's what he died.
Oh my God, that's crazy. So I wrote stroke.
That's what he died. He originally had a stroke, and then that's what led up to the skin cancer. Yeah. I
gotcha. So just as a way to start from square one of the first thing that led us to finding the diagnosis. Or you're saying like, wait, if I heard you right, you're saying that because of how they treated his stroke or what they put him on, it caused skin cancer?
So basically he had the stroke first, and so which led to other medical issues. And then he had to have a kidney transplant, and the kidney transplant medication can cause skin cancer if you don't wear sunscreen. And he refused sunscreen. We kept asking to, he just refused to do it and got skin cancer, and then that's what he died of.
Jeez.
Stroke was the first thing. It was just like a series of things that happened over like a 6-year period that just what a crazy story, man. It's amazing like how everybody has a different story, but that's amazing. You can say, well, it did start with a stroke. I guess your dad was on borrowed time, but at the same time he could have been more proactive Definitely.
But at the same time, I feel like your dad always just did whatever he wanted to do, and then that's what happened. He lived and died by that sword.
What you just said is what my brother and I just literally had an argument about that just a few other days about that, is that my father just always did whatever he wanted to do. And I was always, like, there's just it was like between my brother and I, a confrontation, because my brother is like very proud of him for always doing that, where I just don't feel the same way. So,
yeah. Well, respectively so. You can feel how you want, but this is your dad's way to make sure you realize, from having your buddy next to you on the couch who just recently lost his dad. I wonder if it brings us all these thoughts about when we lost our father when we were so young, and to realize whether you're, a teenager, or if you're, a 40-year-old man, it's, you only get one dad in life, and hope you can see past the fact that all of us on earth, including our fathers, were and are imperfect beings. And that's why we came here. And we all have faults and stuff. But at the end of the day, I hope you always knew, no matter what the faults or how we were all a product of our environment and our upbringing and our families prior to us, they loved their children. And, at the end of the day, this is their way to say you always have your fathers in your corner, whether you can kind of accept things or not, or if you can see past things or not. This is their way to say they want to make sure they want a relationship with both of you still, without a third party like me, that they want to connect with you directly to say, hey, we're in the backyard with you. We see the work that you've done to the house, and we've been with you when you lost your fur babies, and we're aware of the new ones, and we know where you've gone on vacation, and we know who you're with and who your friends are. We are a part of your life. And I just hope that you're always able to remind yourself that both of you are just very loved, respected people. And I hope, more importantly, you guys take all that and remind yourself to always love and look out for yourself and learn from your father's shortcomings. And somehow maybe that's another reason why they went through what they went through, to benefit their children without even knowing it. There's a lesson to be taught. And that's why we were assigned them as our parents, to learn from them and to be better than them. So sounds like you're on your way to do that. Just seems like you guys have a lot of history, just the two of you together, but I hope it's all good. And I hope you do have each other to rely on through hard times. And just realize, life is quick, so enjoy it, but you have a whole studio audience of loved ones and people cheering you guys on to do whatever you guys are working on together to make it as huge as you possibly can be. And I have to ask, what the heck do you guys do? Can I ask?
Yes.
Yeah, so we actually developed software for the apartment industry. So we've been doing it for like 18 years.
Marketing and advertising for apartment industry across the US, and help share on Craigslist. So we have this very niche market that we help apartment communities post to Craigslist to advertise their apartments, and because they couldn't figure it out. So we just kind of created a company and we help people out, and that's the core of our company.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. So you do help people. You help people find their homes. That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
So keep doing what you're doing. Hold on to your dogs while you have them. And but fur babies, just like humans, are forever. Love lives on, no matter what, how many legs you have, and who you were. We go on forever. So I hope this is what you guys were looking for. I hope you enjoyed talking to me. I really hope stay in touch. And if you enjoyed this, please let other people know. But it was really nice to connect with both of you today.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I'll see you down the road. Enjoy San Diego for me.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.